Huntingdale had all the prospects of hosting a dramatic final day of the 2015 Uniqlo Masters, and it certainly turned out that way. Adam Scott harboured desires of getting the jacket for the third time after he was able to roll in an early birdie here at the fourth. He had the majority of the galleries with him, but those who weren't with Adam Scott were with the sentimental favourite, Peter Senior. Off to a flying start. 30-foot birdie putt at the first hole. He was actually able to birdie the first two. But this is where things began to fall apart for Adam Scott. Yet again, he was right at the seventh. Had to chip out to there. This was his third shot. And all the way through the back. And that was pretty much dead. And he would go on to make double bogey there. 29-year-old Andrew Evans was so impressive. He kept his composure all the way through the day. And that birdie putt at the fourth made sure that he was going to be in contention coming down the stretch, as was John Senden. This a birdie at 6. And the Australian Open champion giving himself a good chance of adding the Masters to that. But this was probably the shot of the day. And as it turns out, the shot of the tournament. Peter Senior, second shot of the par 4 10th, the long par 4. Have a look at this. Setting up a cast iron birdie, and that would be the shot that propelled him towards victory. Bryson DeChambeau, the leading amateur. Third shot here at 14. He would go on to make birdie here, and he would be the leading amateur by some margin, and everyone enjoyed his presence in Melbourne. The key was in the lock, and it was nearly turned when Peter Senior played a wonderful approach over the trap into 13 and then did this. And it looked as though it was going to be a bit too much for the likes of Andrew Evans, but the young man was hanging in there. This is birdie putt at 15. And all of a sudden, he came right back into the mix when this tee shot at 17 saw Peter Senior's reaction tell the tale. Deep in the jungle. And he would go on to make bogey at the 17th hole, which meant that this approach at 16 for Andrew Evans was exceptionally important. He liked it from the word go. He was able to set up a birdie. But in the end, it was just a bit too much to ask. Peter Senior in the trap at 18 needed to get up and down from here, not to guarantee the win, but to make it very difficult for anyone else. The trap shot was spectacular. The par putt was just what he wanted. And that was going to be enough to give the 56-year-old a third victory in the Australian Masters. And his third victory comes 20 years after his second one. Peter Senior, simply magnificent today. He's won the PGA in his 50s, the Open in his 50s, and now the Masters in his 50s as well.
Well, it's I'm getting a bit long in the tooth now, but it's amazing some of the things that have happened the last few years.
When you arrived here today, did you believe that you'd be standing in this spot right now?
Well, honestly, I thought I had a chance. If the wind had blown a little bit more, I would have given myself a good chance of winning. But, you know, I started off great, birdied the first 2 holes. Yeah. Dropped a couple straight away. But, you know, this is a great golf course. And, you know, I drove it pretty well today. Hit a lot of good shots coming in and sort of leaked a little bit of oil the last couple of holes, but managed to hang on.
Was it the second shot at 10 that really made you believe that this might have been possible?
It's always a tough hole, 10. Normally a par 5 for me, and I'm more comfortable as a par 5. But, you know, the young guys these days hit it so far. But to hit my shot that close, it sort of, push started me for the back 9.
So you've now won the PGA in your 50s, you've won the Australian Open in your 50s, and you've won the Australian Masters in your 50s. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'd agree that is truly one of the great achievements in Australian golf history.
Thank you.
And your son Mitch was on the bag, and June's here as well.
Yeah, well, Mitchell's caddy for me for 5 years now. Excuse me. And he does a hell of a job. You know, he was. We did a little bit of work before he got on the tour. He'd never caddied before when I got on the Champions Tour, and he's got better and better, and now he's indispensable. So to Mitch, I know he's over there somewhere. Mate, thanks very much. To my wife, June, putting up with me for all these years, nearly 40 years travelling. You've got to have a good one, and I've certainly got that. To everybody else, to the State Government of Victoria, to Uniqlo, thank you very much for all your help. To all the other sponsors, to TAG, fantastic watch. I wasn't even expecting that, but it's a good little bonus. To everybody who came out, supported the tournament, thanks very much. To IMG, I've been with IMG for, God, must be 40 years now. But they've been a great company to be associated with, and it won't be much longer before David will sort of put me out to pasture. To Huntingdale Golf Club, really great with the changes, the clubhouse beautiful, and I think in the next couple of years when the greens settle down a bit, the course will be fantastic. We really enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else did. Thank you.
Everybody else most certainly did. A truly remarkable day in Australian golf. Peter Senior, his final margin of victory, 2 shots over Bryson DeChambeau of the United States. John Sendon of Australia, Andrew Evans of Australia tied second at -6. Adam Scott finished up in outright 5th place at -4. And then there was a collection of players which included Richard Green, Brett Rumford and Alistair Presnell. But it was Senior's day at Huntingdale. Peter Senior, the Masters champion for the 3rd time.